Fallon, the senior designated hitter for the Falcons. Olsen delivers, and that one's fouled away, 0-1. The Bobcats looking to snap a 4-game losing streak. Falcons trying to snap a 5-game skid. Bowling Green got swept in a 4-game series last weekend against Evansville as this one's tapped short of the mound. Olsen throws in the dust, but it's dug up for a 1-2-3 inning. 6 up, 6 down for Luke Olsen in his first start at home as a Bobcat. We go to the bottom of the second inning after this. No score on YouTube. No score as we move to the bottom of the second inning at Bob Wren Stadium alongside Cedric Granger. My name is Sam Hyman. Glad you're with us. Temperatures in the mid-40s here in Athens, but that doesn't stop the show. The rain has held off to this point as we get set for the bottom of the second inning. And it's the heart of the order, 4, 5, and 6. Mason Minzy, the catcher, steps in for Ohio. Gage Schenk on the mound for Bowling Green, and he fires a 1-0 fastball that connects on the inside corner for strike one. This is the 4th start of the season for Gage Schenk, his 31st in his collegiate career, coming in with a 4.91 ERA this season. That misses low, 2 balls and 1 strike. He only lasted 3 innings in his last start, gave up 5 earned runs and 5 walks in that game. 2-1 pitch. Lifted foul down the left field line, and the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes to Mason Minzy, who leads the team with 3 home runs this season. A guy who also transferred from a junior college. Minzy actually started his career, though, at Texas Tech. Then he went to Wabash Valley, a powerhouse in the junior college ranks, as the 2-2 is high, 3 balls and 2 strikes. So to go from a Big 12 school then to a junior college school, it probably has to be a humbling experience. And then now he's here in Ohio as the 3-2 is swung on and missed for strike 3. That'll bring up Alec Patino, the first baseman. Patino, our player to watch coming in for the Bobcats. This young man has been excellent in his first season with Ohio. 15 RBIs to lead the squad. First pitch is right down the middle for a called strike, 0-1.
Alec Patino, another one of those Iowa Western transfers on this team, joining Colin Kasperbauer as well. That has been a pipeline for Ohio, and Coach Moore talked about just how his background at both Nebraska and Creighton has really helped Iowa Western to become a pipeline for this Bobcat team.
1 ball and 2 strikes on Alec Patino. Yeah, it is a great connection. That Iowa Western pipeline, a team that has been very good at the JUCO level, as this ball is crushed high in the air down the right field line, and that ball is gone. It's fair, and Ohio leads 1-0 on the solo blast from Alec Patino.
Absolute moonshot there from the lefty, being able to see that ball real well coming over the plate, and he left no doubt on that one. I call it an hasta la vista for Alec Patino, and that is not just his first, that is his second one of the season. What a strong start for Patino.
Yeah, he just snuck that one inside the right field foul pole, Cedric, and the Bobcats lead it 1-0 as Will Sturrock fouls the first pitch off, no balls and one strike. Well, it's one thing that head coach Craig Moore has outlined this team has struggled with, and that is getting behind early in games. And here to start off with a 1-0 advantage at home, first MAC game of the season, that is crucial given how tough Ohio's non-conference has been. 0-2 on the outside corner, called strike 3. Gage Shank bounces back and strikes out his second batter of the inning.
Yeah, one of the strengths that Coach Halleck told us about Gage Shank is that he has a presence of mind on the mound where even if mistakes are made, even if you might give up a home run, a part of being a Warrior is just really having that attitude that, hey, we're going to make mistakes sometimes, but you got to keep going at them. And that was an excellent bounce back there, striking out the batter looking.
Alex Finney at the plate for Ohio. He takes a ball. Yeah, to your point, Coach Halleck did say that Gage Shank is a straight Warrior, not just because he doesn't wear any sleeves, but because he's a gamer out there on the diamond. And that is out number 3 as the catcher Kyle Gurney makes the play, and Ohio will head back out to defense. Well, Alec Patino in his first game at this park in year 1 at Ohio with a solo blast here in the bottom of the second inning. It's 1-0 Bobcats heading to the third. Game 1 of our 3-game series this weekend from Bob Wren Stadium. Live on YouTube. We'll be back. Well, the Bobcats lead it 1-0 as we march forward to the top of the third inning from Bob Wren Stadium. Sam Hyman, Cedric Granger, as this pitch is lined into left field. Could be extra bases for Tyler Ross. Rounds first. Antle's throw is late, and Bowling Green starts the top of the third with a bang. Tyler Ross, leadoff double, the senior first baseman.
First one of the year for Tyler Ross, and I just want to say that's great base running there too. No hesitation, knowing that he was going to be able to get to second base. Got that shoulder dip nice and low on that turn around first base and gave him enough time to be able to beat the throw to second base. Good work, good work.
And what a way to respond after Bowling Green gave up a solo home run in the last inning. Jack Krause at the plate for Bowling Green. Corner infielders are in. No outs in the top of the third, and the first pitch misses inside for ball 1 to the senior left fielder, Jack Krause. Krause is making his 8th start of the season, hitting just 136. 1-0 misses high, ball 2. Olsen has gotten off to a great start in this game. That double he just allowed was the first hit of the game for Bowling Green. He had retired the first 6 he faced. This is bounced off the first baseman Patino's mitt. It goes to second. Adams has no play, and Bowling Green is in business. Runners at first and third with nobody out.
Yeah, with the first baseman having to go back to try to make that play, Patino over there. It really forced somebody else to have to quickly get back on the bag. Olsen tried to sprint to first base, not able to get there in time, and now you got runners on the corners.
And that goes down as an infield single for Jack Krause. So the number 9 hitter, Ryan Johnston, with a golden opportunity here for the Falcons to try and tie this game up. Squares to bunt, pulls back. It is low, 1 ball and no strikes. Johnston has just 1 RBI this season in 21 at-bats. One nothing lead for Ohio, game 1 of 3 in our MAC opening series. This is a push bunt to the right side. Olsen with 1 play, and it's to first. And the sacrifice bunt works to give the Falcons a 1 spot on the scoreboard. We are deadlocked here in the 3rd.
No matter how cold it is outside, you can already see the energy, both sides chirping at each other a little bit, getting hyped whenever the runs are. And you can always see that in MAC play where you have a lot of extra energy and extra juice that's there. When you compare that to a non-conference play, you just don't see that.
Back to the top of the order for the Falcons, and Nathan Archer, sophomore center fielder who flew out his last time up. Luke Olsen, in his first year at Ohio, delivers a strike right down Court Street. 0-2 the count. Olsen transferred from Danville Area Community College in Illinois. Sported a 2.72 ERA in 2022 in JUCO. 0-2, ring him up, strike 3. Got him on the inside corner, and that's 2 strikeouts for Olsen. 2 down here in the 3rd.
That's a beautiful way to really work those corners and everything like that. It's really a chess match that you get to see between the pitchers and the batters, and being able to really work those corners of the zones whenever you're in situations of conflict where you're like, I don't know if we want to swing at this point right here. It can kind of put them into conflict before swinging at the end of their at-bat. So really good work there from Olsen. And we'll see how many innings he goes as well, too. That's something that is key for the starting lineup of Bobcats pitchers.
Hey, he got off to a brilliant start as we outlined. 6 up, 6 down. Now trying to get out of this mini jam. 2 balls and no strikes to Sam Seidel, the freshman second baseman who flew out his first time up. He does have 4 hits in his last 3 games coming into this series. Jack Krause is at second base, 2 down. Here's the 2-0 pitch, and it just misses inside. 3 balls and no strikes. .30 is right down the pipe. 3 balls and 1 strike. Opening weekend of MAC play for these 2 teams. Bowling Green picked 9th in the MAC preseason poll. Ohio projected 6th. 3-1 is foul tipped. Full count, 3-2.
Yeah, in this situation, watch out for a potential runner-going situation with runners on the base path. There's not a lot of teams in the country that are more dangerous than these Falcons. They have 16 stolen bases on the year, 16 for 20 on their total attempts as well. They are stealing at a very high clip.
Yeah, it's something Coach Halleck emphasized to us in our conversation earlier this week, as this is shot right behind the second base bag. Dolan bobbles it, but he does prevent the ball from going into the outfield, in which case it prevents the runner from scoring. Jack Krause has to stop at third base. So runners at the corners with 2 outs. Even though that wasn't an out, it was a productive play for Dolan to be able to keep that ball in the infield and give Olsen another opportunity to at least protect this 1-1 score.
Yeah, it was great poise there by Dolan. It's easy to kind of panic immediately when the ball doesn't easily go into your glove. I see a pickoff attempt going through. Bobcats luckily able to stave that off if you are a Ohio fan watching at home. But like we were saying earlier with Dolan, ball comes to you, you kind of dribble it a little bit, and just being able to not panic and know that, hey, the main thing is you cannot allow another run in this situation. Oh, runner goes.
Olsen throws it away from the first baseman, Patino. It goes into the right field corner. 1 run scores. And here comes Seidel all the way from first base, and he slides in head first in Bowling Green with some 2-out support for the ages. And they get it off the misfire at the pitcher's mound from Luke Olsen. It's 3-1 Bowling Green. A major miscue there. And Olsen will have to put it quickly in the rear view mirror. That is a 2-run error there, as Kyle Gurney swings through the first offering and misses for strike 1. Olsen did the first thing right. He had the runner picked off. He had Seidel picked off, or Krause, picked off, and it just was not, it was all for naught.
Yep, could have potentially had a rundown situation as well. Definitely testing the defense and the infield play of the Bobcats. This is something that is a focal point of their practices. It is still early on in the season, so you will see a lot of errors as teams start to work things out as they're working different infield matchups. There's a hit by pitch.
Yep, it hit Kyle Gurney, and all of a sudden Luke Olsen has really struggled, and his start has gone a little sideways here after retiring. The first 6 batters he faced this 3rd inning has been very challenging, and we're going to get a mound visit. A mound visit coming from first-year assistant coach Tim Brown.
I think here this is just the time where you really go and tell your guy, like, hey, there's been a couple things that have happened against you. We're not pulling you out at all right now yet. This is a time, though, where you're going to have to work your way out. You got 2 outs. Just find a way to get out of this inning and give your offense a chance to be able to get yourself back into the game. Just don't panic.
Yep. Tim Brown, by the way, in his first season with the Bobcats, was an assistant coach at Eastern Illinois before coming to Athens. As Olsen delivers outside, 1 ball and no strikes to Justin Fugett, a senior right fielder who struck out his first time up. 3-1 lead for Bowling Green. They have scored all of their runs in this inning. Ryan Johnston dropped down a sac bunt RBI out of the 9 spot, and then Luke Olsen's throwing error allowed 2 runs to score. 2 balls and 1 strike to Fugett. The 2-1 pitch is fouled back. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Home opener for Ohio here at Bob Wren Stadium today. We've got 2 more games in this series this weekend, and those will take place tomorrow. No game on Sunday due to some potential weather in the forecast, so it'll be a doubleheader tomorrow. 2-2 is upstairs. There goes Gurney. Throw down to second, and Dolan applies the tag in time. Inning over, but not before Bowling Green strikes for 3 runs in the 3rd. They take advantage of a throwing error from the pitcher, Luke Olsen, and it's 3-1 Falcons in the season opener at home for Ohio. We'll be back in a moment for the bottom of the 3rd. You're watching Ohio Baseball live on YouTube. Bobcats look to bounce back here in the bottom of the third as we welcome you back to Bob Wren Stadium alongside Cedric Granger. I'm Sam Hyman. Glad you're with us for baseball back in Athens, home opener for Ohio to unpack MAC play in a 3-game set against Bowling Green. 8, 9, and 1 hitters due up for Craig Moore's team here in the bottom of the third inning. Billy Adams, the freshman second baseman, his first game as a Bobcat on this field. Gage Shank, the pitcher. This is clobbered high in the air to left center field. Going back is the center fielder, Archer. He leaps up, and he comes down with it. Wow, what a catch from Archer. He robs Adams of extra bases and then some.
Jeez, what a catch. Just being able to sky up there like Superman to be able to bring that one down. And Coach Halleck, he described him as a difference maker for a reason. Next level talent. And we got to see it up there. That ball would have went over the fence. That would have been a homer there for Billy Adams. And Archer, he had other plans. Took it right away from him.
Unbelievable play from Nathan Archer. And that's a loud out number 1 here in the bottom of the third inning as the next batter is Nick Dolan. Shortstop swings and fouls this one off 0-2. Nathan Archer, as you mentioned, Cedric, a difference maker according to head coach Kyle Halleck. And not only is he a difference maker, but he will be a prospect a lot of people will pay attention to as that misses low. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Nathan Archer is heading to the Cape Cod Baseball League this summer to play with the YD Red Sox, one of the most coveted summer ball leagues in the country, along with a couple of others, the Northwoods League, which has more of that longer, rigorous travel minor league baseball vibe, but there is so much talent in the Cape Cod Baseball League as the 2-2 is fouled off. Still 2 balls and 2 strikes. And actually, Kyle Halleck coached. His first coaching job was at YD with the YD Red Sox back in 2014. So there's a connection there with Archer heading to YD this summer. 2-2 is on the inside corner, called strike 3, 2 down.
It's a competitive at-bat there for Dolan. He was seeing the ball fairly well, fouled off some decent pitches over there, but then sometimes you just deal with a really great pitch there, and that was what the case was from Shank, who's really starting to hit his stride now here in this third inning.
Gideon Antle at the plate, and he hacks at the first one. Foul ball for strike 1. Gideon Antle, the junior left fielder in his first season with the Bobcats. Antle transferred over from Jefferson College, a junior college in Missouri. And Craig Moore has a lot of great things to say about Gideon Antle at the beginning of the season. He said he doesn't know anything different than going 100% time and time again, as that is strike 2. Dealt with a hamstring situation at the start of the season, but he is back in the lineup, and Coach Moore said he is probably the fastest player on the team. 1-2 is on the outside corner, called strike 3. Gage Shank is in some type of zone. He's got 4 strikeouts across 3 innings, and we head to the 4th after this. 3-1 lead for Bowling Green, and you're watching all the action live on YouTube. Top of the fourth inning here at Bob Wren Stadium alongside Cedric Granger, Sam Hyman. Glad you're with us on Bobcat TV. Opener for both these teams, and Ohio looked like they were going to get one back, Cedric, back in that last half inning. Billy Adams absolutely clobbered a baseball to dead center field. Nathan Archer had other ideas as he reached up close to the fence and snagged it, which was really a momentum killer in that frame.
Yeah, Gage Shank's got to get him a steak dinner after that for making a play like that one. Nathan Archer just being able to showcase the bunnies. It looked like that ball was headed right over the plane of the fence. I think it would have been a home run if it were not for Archer getting his glove up there, was able to almost tip it to himself, and then he was able to corral it down. We kind of didn't all know. I felt like there was a moment of anticipation whether he caught it or not, Sam, and then he raised it up. And all the Bobcats fans, you can see their heads go down, and all the Bowling Green fans in the crowd go and raise a cheer.
Luke Olson strikes out Justin Fugit to start the top of the fourth inning. So Fugit is down for the second time on strikes in this game. And that is the third strikeout for Luke Olson, the junior college transfer. So good start in this inning for Olson after he allowed a double to begin the third inning on one pitch as Nathan Rose steps to the plate, the senior third baseman.
Yeah, if you're Coach Moore, this is what you want to see. You want to see a nice bounce-back inning from Olson just to be able to see, like, hey, you know, if you're going to go and get a 5-inning start or a 6-inning start, you're going to have innings like that where things just aren't going to go well, and you need to be able to maintain through that and bounce back. You've had 2 scoreless innings pitched, and now you got to try to make it 3 in the day.
Nick Dolan chucks it over to first. One hop over towards Alec Patino, and he finds a way with the back pick. 2 up, 2 down to start the top of the fourth.
Good split there by Patino as well, being able to create a little bit more service area to help the throw beat the runner to first base. Good work, good infielding by the Cats.
Adam Fallon, the senior designated hitter, steps in for Bowling Green. And he takes a strike on the inside corner, 0-1. This is a Bowling Green team that did not have a midweek game like Ohio did this week. Ohio played in Lexington, Kentucky against the SEC opponent, Kentucky, as this is well fouled down the right field line off the bat of Adam Fallon. We asked Coach Halleck, what was the emphasis in practice this week when you didn't have a midweek game? And he said, we did a live scrimmage on Wednesday because of that no midweek game. And they typically do a live scrimmage during the midweek when they don't have one game on that Tuesday or Wednesday frame. He said it's very important for our guys to stay competitive and put something out there on the line during practice. 1-2 misses outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes to Adam Fallon, the senior, who grounded out his first time up. Olson delivers. 2-2 is nubbed right back to the mound. Olson lobs it gingerly over to first, and it bounces into Patino's mitt. A 1-2-3 inning for Luke Olson, so he bounces back, and it's a 3-1 lead still for Bowling Green in the MAC opener for these two teams. We head to the bottom of the fourth after this, live on Bobcat TV. We go to the bottom of the fourth inning from Bob Wren Stadium alongside Cedric Granger. I'm Sam Hyman. Glad you're with us as the Bobcats look to respond down 3-1 here in the fourth. A.J. Roush is pegged on the backside there of his leg, and that is a base runner quickly for Ohio, maybe to spark something here in the fourth.
Yeah, it always helps being able to get runners on. I'm sure A.J. Roush, though, having to take the hit by pitch, that's his first one taken of the season. Have to ice that up a little bit, but given the temperature, you're getting the ice already. We're talking about weather in the 40s today.
Yes, sir, Cedric. Temperature right now is exactly 42 degrees according to my weather app. Some light rain potentially in the forecast, but nothing too crazy. Here's Colin Kasperbauer, fifth-year senior. One of those Iowa Western transfers. 1 ball and no strikes to Kasperbauer, who led the MAC in batting average a season ago. Had an unbelievable campaign with the Bobcats in 2022. 380 to be exact. And he skies this one left side of the infield. Nathan Rose, the third baseman, has to navigate over, and the ball bounces in no man's land. Roush rushes to second. He had to hold up. And that's just a tough situation for the Bobcats, not being able to really get both guys to stay on base there because Roush expected that to be caught.
Yeah, it's kind of a tough situation for Roush. You're kind of in no man's land because if the ball is caught, you don't want to get picked off quickly at first. So he was kind of in a tough scenario, whether it was already try to go for second and hope that they drop the ball or just stay at first and not allow your teammate to be able to get there as well. So it was a tough one. And that's just one of those things where in baseball, it's going to be about breaks sometimes, whether it's a good break or a bad break. On the surface, it may have seemed like a good break for the Cats with the Falcons dropping that ball. However, it ended up being tough for the Cats giving up the out.
And no infield fly rule was called, by the way. So Roush out at second base. And this pitch is blasted high in the air off the bat of Mason Minzy into left field, shy of the warning track, though, and playable for Jack Krause. And that's out number 2 here in the bottom of the fourth inning.
Seen a fair bit of loud outs today for the Bobcats. They are still able to have some good vision on the ball. However, it just continues to fly where instead of getting that horizontal feel with your swings, you're kind of getting more of that verticality. That's leading to a lot more fly balls.
Next batter, Alec Patino, who homered his last time up. By the way, the reason why there was no infield fly rule called there is it's only in effect when runners are at first and second or first, second, and third. So Roush out at second on that error by the third baseman, Nathan Rose, as Kasperbauer jogs back to first safely. One ball and no strikes, the count. And Patino charges this one high in the air, deep to right field. Not one, but 2 homers in his Bobcat debut at Bob Wren Stadium. A 2-run blast for Alec Patino, and we're tied at 3.
No matter how cloudy it may be today at Bob Wren Stadium, that's one way to make the sun come out by hitting home runs like that. Welcome to Athens, Ohio. Alec Patino, make it 2 Hasta La Vistas this afternoon. He is absolutely on fire. He really seems to have Shank's number today. That's a second.
Yeah, unbelievable. I had to look down. I know we just mentioned he had 1 home run, but just had to make sure because, my goodness, that was a no-doubter. Here's Will Sturrock, and he takes 2 quick strikes, 0-2. So the Bobcats right back in this game.
Yeah, same area to that right field side.
0-2 is just outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 is fouled back. Well, one of the things that Coach Moore of Ohio said is this team's greatest strength, and he did not hesitate before the season when he said our offense is definitely the strength of this team. And that has been the case so far, as this is lined into right center field. Archer rushes over, and he leaps up and makes the catch. That man can make up ground quickly in the outfield. The Bobcats are back in business. A 2-run blast from Alec Patino. He's got not one, but 2 homers in this game. We're tied at 3, and the MAC opener is not disappointing us one bit. Come back and join us for the 5th after this, live on Bobcat TV. Top of the 5th inning at Bob Wren Stadium. Tyler Ross leads off in a 3-3 contest to open up MAC play for these two teams. MACtion is live. It's real, and it's finally here on the diamond. 0-1 pitch is fouled off. 0-2 to Tyler Ross, who doubled and scored to begin that wild 3rd inning. If you're just joining us, Tyler Ross led off the 3rd with a double, scored on a sacrifice bunt. 0-2 is poked in the air to shallow right field. Here comes Will Sturrock, charges in. Hack comes off, the ball in the mitt, and it's the first out of the 5th.
Go. Hats off to Will Sturrock being able to read that one. Almost looked like a little bit of a bloop that may have fallen in between the infield and the outfield, but Sturrock, he read it very well, got on his high horse, and was able to run in to pick up the out.
First pitch just misses outside to Jack Krause. But yeah, that 3rd inning was rocky for Luke Olson on the mound, Ohio's starting pitcher. 1 ball and 1 strike. After allowing that 1 run, there was 1 runner on first, another on second, and it was a 2-run pickoff attempt throwing error. Pardon me, there were runners on the corners, and that's when Olson threw that one down the right field line. And 2 runs came across to score to make it a 3-1 lead for Ohio. But then Alec Patino responds with a 2-run homer, and that's where we are right now. 3-3 game, 2 balls and 2 strikes, and this is fouled off by Krause. Two-two pitch is on the top of the strike zone, called strike 3. 4 strikeouts for Olson, and his first start at Bob Wren Stadium this season and in his career.
Yeah, if he can continue getting these runners out nice and quickly, this is how you continue to eat more innings, give yourself a lot more chances to keep the arm fresh. I'm sure Coach Moore would like to see about 5 or 6 innings at least out of Luke Olson, and he's getting there.
That just misses outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Luke Olson's longest outing this season, 5. He did it twice, as this is a 1-hop skipper to Nick Dolan. Deep in the hole at short, no problem. What a play from Nick Dolan, and it's a 1-2-3 top of the 5th inning. So for the 3rd time this season, Luke Olson has spun 5 innings on the mound, and we're tied at 3 here in the first game of this 3-game series. Bowling Green and Ohio come back and join us for the bottom of the 5th. You're watching Maction on Bobcat TV. Seven, 8, 9 hitters due up for Ohio in the bottom of the 5th inning. Game 1 of a 3-game series here from Bob Wren Stadium. A cool day in March here in Athens. Temperatures in the low 40s. First game of MAC play for both teams, and once again, Gage Shank hits a batter to begin the frame. He did that in the 4th inning when A.J. Roush was plunked, and now Alex Finney will head down to first base with a potential bruise on the way tomorrow morning.
Yeah, it's the second one of those this season. Ouch.
Billy Adams digs in, freshman second baseman who nearly hit a home run his last time up. Nathan Archer had other ideas, and here's a beautiful push bunt up the first base line. And the first baseman, Tyler Ross, takes to the bag himself, but a great sacrifice from Billy Adams. Tell you what, 2 at-bats, our first glance of Billy Adams at this park, and he has made some really quality decisions at the plate.
Yeah, the freshman from Medina, Ohio is looking anything but a freshman, looking already nice and comfortable, and having to make that adjustment from high school to college ball. It's not an easy thing for a lot of players. Sometimes you need not only the adjustment from going in from high school to college by being on the bench, but also you need to go to junior college sometimes as well to get that extra preparation. So whenever you do see freshmen that can come in day one and start and be very solid on both ends of the field, that's impressive.
Yeah, you do mention as Nick Dolan steps in that junior college route possibility. That's something Colin Kasperbauer told me before the season. He said, I had to go to junior college. Those were the 2 most important years of my life. I don't think I could have played Division I out of high school. Some guys can. Some guys need that extra practice, and there are a couple of guys in this Ohio lineup sprinkled in there for Craig Moore who did decide to go the junior college route. Billy Adams, not one of them, as we alluded to, just a freshman, as this is a sky ball into left field. Jack Krause has to wait 5 to 10 seconds, it feels like, but he makes the play, and Dolan is retired for out number 2 in the bottom of the 5th inning. And that'll turn the lineup over for Gideon Antle, junior college transfer. As we talked about it earlier, Ohio slotted 6th in the MAC preseason poll. Ball State picked 1st. Central Michigan, they've been a perennial power of late. The 3-time defending MAC tournament champions projected 2nd as Antle takes a strike. Kent State picked 3rd in the preseason poll. And Ohio's opponent today, Bowling Green, slotted 9th. But there are a lot of preseason polls that basically get thrown out of the window. You can't predict too well when you get deeper and deeper into conferences. Antle charges this one into left field. Playable, though, for Jack Krause, and that will end the bottom of the 5th inning. So Ohio strands one runner, and we move to the 6th. All tied at 3. What a great way to start the MAC season here between Ohio and Bowling Green here from Bob Wren Stadium. We'll be back in a moment on Bobcat TV. Nathan Archer steps in and takes a first pitch strike from Luke Olson back at Bob Wren Stadium. Sam Hyman, Cedric Granger on hand for the MAC opener for these two teams. Here's a tough play here. Luke Olson, bare hand, throw to first in time. How about it from the pitcher, Luke Olson, helping out his own cause. And that is not an easy play to begin with. But given the guy running up the first base line, Cedric, Nathan Archer is a speed demon. And Olson made the play.
Yeah, Olson, he is dealing not only at the mound, but he's also being able to deal in the infield a little bit as well, working it quickly to first base. And no matter how fast Archer may be, Olson tells him my pass and my throw is just a little bit faster.
Sam Seidel takes a strike, 0-1. And that's got to be a good feeling for Olson, especially after a couple of innings ago. Runners at the corners. A pickoff attempt. He thought he had the guy at first base, threw the ball down the right field line, and for him to make that play, again, especially with the speed that Archer presents, impressive. 2-1 count. Olson working very quickly here. That misses outside. 3 balls and 1 strike.
You can tell that both of these teams just really playing with that edge right now. This is what each of the coaches look for throughout the week, why they do scrimmages like we heard from Coach Halleck and what we talked about earlier in the broadcast, Sam, where they're having scrimmages where things are on the line. Because when we get to game time situations like this, things are on the line. You want to start fast in MAC play.
Alec Patino has 2 home runs in this game. He also has a couple of great defensive plays, including that one over at first. Great back pick. 2 down. Yeah, it is very important to have those competitive at-bats in practice. That's something Ohio does as well. Craig Moore told me in our conversation, I think it was actually earlier this week, you were also in the office for that, and Coach Moore said we really like to prioritize the situational hitting, making guys think in counts and certain counts with guys on base in certain situations to really get the mind to think, because there's one thing to just take batting practice, swing freely, and try to hit the baseball, but there's another to have those elements involved in the game, and it translates over to the actual game as it's a 2-1 count here to Kyle Gurney.
Yeah, a lot of these drills, they aren't for nothing, Sam, as again, with Ohio, we've gotten to see how situational hitting drills have really helped them, with Patino earlier being able to drive in a run via his home run as well, too, and being able to have that opportunity where you're not leaving guys on, which was a point of emphasis given that the first game this season against UNC Wilmington, the Bobcats, they left 12 runners on base. Coach Moore does not want to see that happen again, and you can already see how those drills throughout the last couple of weeks have paid dividends, and they paid dividends not only in non-conference games, but in conference games as well.
Payoff pitch, swing and a miss, strike three. Luke Olson has recharged the batteries. He's retired 9 in a row, and he has lasted 6 innings, his longest start of the season. We go to the bottom of the 6th after this. All tied at 3 in the MAC opener for both. A.J. Roush leads us off here in the bottom of the 6th inning. We've got a dandy on our hands, folks. This has been so fun to start MAC play. A.J. Roush swings and clobbers this one into left center field. Archer's not going to get there. It's down for extra bases. Roush will stroll into second base with a leadoff double in the bottom of the 6th.
Sam, this team just knows how to get extra bases. When we talk about doubles on the season, the Bobcats had 30 coming into this game, and one of the reasons for that has been A.J. Roush. He's been a slugger out there. That is his 8th double of the season.
Yes, indeed. It leads the team, and this is the heartbeat of the Ohio Bobcat order. Colin Kasperbauer out of the 3 spot steps in. Bobcats and Falcons tied at 3, and Kasperbauer squares around a bunt, and it's foul, 0-1. Well, Gage Shank, who is on the mound still for Bowling Green, he comes into this frame, Cedric, with only 57 pitches, so we'll see how long his leash is. There is one guy warming up down the right field line for the Falcons, but only 57 pitches coming into this frame. As here's the 0-1, and it misses outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. The Ohio starter, Luke Olson, has thrown 80 pitches through 6 innings.
This is why it's important to have these competitive at-bats, too, where sometimes being patient there, just be able to get that pitch count up high, kind of force it into the bullpen if need be. And right now there's been a lot of loud outs where Ohio's come out swinging.
And Kasperbauer shoots this one through the right side. Roush rounds third. He's on his horse. A one-hopper to home is late. And Kasperbauer delivers and breaks the 3-3 tie. Ohio leads 4-3.
Talk about double trouble back-to-back for the Bobcats, this time driving in a ever so important run, taking the lead in this game again. They led in the 2nd inning 1-0, and now they're back out in front. Situational hitting coming through yet again for the Cats.
And this potentially could be the day for Gage Shank. We'll wait and see. Remember, coming into this inning, he only threw 57 pitches, was in a little bit of a groove. Really, his only mistakes have been to Alec Patino. That's been it. Alec Patino has driven in 3 of Ohio's 4 runs. And, yeah, this is just going to be a brief conversation on the mound. This is a guy in Gage Shank who has a ton of experience. His 31st career start. He's a senior. He was the Friday night starter last year. And looking to get out of what is potentially some trouble brewing for the Falcons. Mason Minzy, the fifth-year senior catcher, steps in. He's 0 for 2. And he swings high. Strike one. Casper Bauer at second. Here's the 0-1 pitch on the inside corner. A fastball for strike two. That is the best pitch, according to Kyle Halleck, that Gage Schenk has at his disposal. He said that his fastball is it's got a high spin rate ranging from 88 to 92 miles per hour. It's a four-seam fastball. A look over at second, and Casper Bauer is picked off. Wow. And Coach Moore cannot believe it.
I think it was pretty clear he got him. That was a really good option of having like eyes on the back of your head essentially and having a good wherewithal for where the base runners are, and that's one way to get out of a jam.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, help your own cause. So 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th. 4-3 game. Ohio just took the lead on an RBI single from Colin Casper Bauer. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Mason Minzy.
You also got to surmise that Bowling Green, with a lot of these in-game scrimmages, you have a really great base-running team in Bowling Green, so these pitchers always kept on their toes during practices, and they really can see how being able to go against a team that knows how to run quickly on the bases and steal a lot of them, how that really helps.
Minzy strikes out swinging, and now it looks like we're going to get a pitching change as Coach Halleck makes his way back to the mound. And the Falcons will turn to a reliever. We'll tell you about that reliever when we come back. 4-3 score. Colin Casper Bauer delivered an RBI single just a moment ago to give the Bobcats a 1-run advantage to open up Maction. We'll be back. Pitching change for Bowling Green as we resume action in the bottom of the 6th. 2 outs. Gage Schenk's day is done. Connor Penrod on the mound. First pitch breaking ball snaps just a bit outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Alec Patino, everybody, buckle up. He's got 2 home runs in this game. And this pitch is lifted in the air, playable this time for the left fielder Jack Krause. And on 2 pitches, Connor Penrod retires the first batter he faces in this game. We go to the 7th, a 4-3 advantage for the Ohio Bobcats in their MAC opener here at Bob Wren Stadium. Back in a moment on Bobcat TV. 1 ball and no strikes to Justin Fugett as we welcome you back to Bob Wren Stadium. Bobcats lead 4-3 after an RBI single from Colin Kasperbauer the last half inning. Luke Olson still going to work for the Bobcats on the mound. He threw 80 pitches through the first 6 innings, I should say. And now into the 7th, doing exactly what Craig Moore said he wanted him to do, and that's eat innings. He's hungry out there on the mound.
It is right around that lunchtime hour, actually a little bit after that lunchtime hour, but does not mean you can't be getting some snacks. And for the case of Olson, it has been innings, really going strong now into this top of the 7th inning. We'll see how far he can go. Now we're actually starting to see a little bit of bullpen activity, though, from the Cats over there. I can see on the outside of left field.
And Olson strikes out Fugett for the 3rd time. 6 total strikeouts for Luke Olson in his first game at this park. Remember, if you're just joining us, the sophomore in year 1 at Ohio as he throws a first pitch strike to Nathan Rose. Olson sported a 2.72 ERA in 2022 at Danville Area Community College as Rose smacks this one in the left field. Gideon Antle is patrolling that spot, and there are 2 down quickly in the top of the 7th.
And that's one way to help your guy on the mound if he is out there for a long time, being able to get those quick outs when possible and getting some assistance from not only the infield but also the outfield out there chasing down those fly balls.
Adam Follen takes low, 1 ball and no strikes. What an outing for Luke Olson so far, as this is ripped foul right side. 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, one of the things that Ohio really struggled with coming into this game, a 2-9 record, defensively and pitching had been an issue as the 1-1 is swung on and missed strike 2. Now, granted, really tough schedule. Western Kentucky's a talented team. They played a game against Virginia. It's a tough non-con as this has popped up high in the air, carrying a little bit better than originally expected, and that ball is up and out of here. How about it for Adam Follen? The DH ties this game at 4. Wind must have picked up a little bit. That ball was carrying quickly, and Bowling Green is locked up at 4 with the Bobcats.
So the drama continues to build out here at Bob Wren Stadium with that solo shot. Just when it looked like Olson had an opportunity to get out of the inning unscathed, that ball just continued carrying, and right field has just seemed to be the hot spot for home runs today.
There is some sort of jet stream as Patino runs out of room. Strike 1. Tyler Ross at the plate. 92 pitches for Luke Olson in this game. That's a strike. 0-2. By the way, that home run was just the 3rd by the whole team so far through 10 games. Another foul ball. And the first of the season for Adam Follen. And he came into this game 2 for 20 at the plate. The 0-2. Ross just got a piece of it. All tied at 4 here at Bob Wren Stadium. Perhaps a dramatic finish brewing to open up MAC play for either team. 0-2, a check swing. Plenty of activity down the left field line for Ohio in their bullpen. Here's the 0-2, and it's just outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Olsen working quickly, 1-2, again fouled off. Great at bat here.
When you talk about competitive, that's exactly what they're looking for. This is a way to drive a pitcher out of the game. We're talking about now over 100 pitches here from Olsen.
A 1-2. Upstairs, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Great at bat here from Tyler Ross.
Way to work it back to not panicking, especially in that 0-2 situation earlier. Now worked it back up.
And Olsen finally comes back and gets him. 7 strikeouts for Luke Olsen. And he's done with a season-high 7 innings in his 4th start of the season. But Bowling Green ties the game up on a solo homer from Adam Fallon. We're tied at 4 heading into the bottom of the 7th. Get up and stretch and come back for the home half of the 7th inning next on Bobcat TV. Back at Bob Wren Stadium, Craig Moore's team tied with Bowling Green 4-4 as we get ready to start the bottom of the 7th inning. It's Will Sturrock at the plate and Connor Penrod who throws in the dirt for ball 1. Got to give a special shout out while we have a moment to Coach Moore's 2 nephews, Owen and Drew, watching from back home in Omaha, Nebraska, the home of the College World Series and the home of the Moore family, watching back home. Of course, Craig Moore with plenty of ties to Nebraska. 1 ball and 2 strikes now to Will Sturrock. Penrod delivers, and that's strike 3. So Alex Finney now will head to the plate.
It's going to be a challenge overall for this Ohio core of batters to be able to take on Connor Penrod. Penrod, he's a guy who's kind of switching roles a little bit. He was in a little bit of everything last year, and now he's really settled in as a middle relief guy, and he's really been the stud in that portion of the bullpen, coming out in these middle innings and being a great reliever for his team. He's responsible for 2 wins on this year, as he ended up having that win over Louisville, of course, most notably, but also was instrumental in their win over Tennessee Tech back on February 19th. Definitely one of the best arms in this lineup, and will probably work his way into potentially being a starter farther down the line, just sitting here right now in his sophomore year.
And working rapidly right now. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Alex Finney. Connor Penrod pitched in every kind of role last year, according to head coach Kyle Halleck, and they moved him to that relief role where he's typically the first guy out of the bullpen. His fastball sits right around 91, 92 miles per hour, so it's got some smoke behind it. And, yeah, against 5th-ranked Louisville, I might add. Got to add that ranking there because that was impressive. There's a called strike 3, so 2 punch-outs to start the bottom of the 7th for Connor Penrod. So the final line on Gage Shank, 5 2/3 innings, 4 hits, 4 runs, 3 earned, no walks, 5 strikeouts for Shank in his 4th start of the season. Here's Billy Adams, freshman second baseman at the plate. 1-0, and the off speed. Wow, what a beautiful hook from Penrod. Strike one. Another breaking ball is shot up in the air, foul ground, first base side, and quickly the inning is over. A 1-2-3 frame for Connor Penrod as we move to the top of the 8th. Crunch time, do or die time, a couple of frames to go as we're tied at 4 in the opener of MAC play for both these teams. Something's got to give. We'll be back in a moment on Bobcat TV. The day is done for Luke Olson. The starter for the Bobcats goes a season-high 7 innings, 7 strikeouts, 0 walks, 2 earned runs, 4 total runs came across. And we're tied at 4 as we start the top of the 8th inning. And the new pitcher is Braxton Kelly as he fires a first pitch that's fouled off. And it's strike one to begin the top of the 8th inning. Braxton Kelly sporting a 3 flat ERA in 4 relief appearances, 3 innings so far in 2023. 6'3", 180-pound right-hander from Ulysses, Kentucky, a 5th-year senior. 1-1 is waved at and missed, strike two. Well, this, again, every game in MAC play is super pivotal. You can't emphasize it enough, and down the stretch here, Ohio with an opportunity to win, both of these teams for that matter, but to be at home and open up MAC play at this tight of a game, these are the ones you want to grab.
Yeah, Sam, you've got to win your series at home, especially this season when you're playing 3 games as opposed to 4 games. I'm going to keep emphasizing that. Most of the time in MAC play, a lot of teams are very even. You see teams split very often. It's really great to be able to try to get your 1 sweep or 2 sweeps in there if you can. But for this season, it's going to be more defined in terms of winning. A lot of times you go see series go 2-2. Yeah. Now you're going to get a lot of times where it's going to be forced to be a 2-1 either way. And by winning that first one, you're putting yourself in a great place to try to take the series.
The payoff pitch is ball 4. So Jack Krause leads off the game. That's the first walk of the entire game.
Yeah, pretty shocking to see that happen all the way in the 8th inning there. Has been pretty much either on target or at least batters making a play at it. Coming out here swinging, both teams giving their best bunch.
And to mention, you brought up the moving from 4-game series to 3-game series this year. Coach Moore, I asked him about that at the beginning of the season. He said he loves the adjustment of not having to have that doubleheader involved. This is a bunt that's dribbling up the first base line. It remains fair, and the throw to first not in time. Ryan Johnston beats it out. Bowling Green in business with runners at first and second and nobody out.
Yeah, talk about some really good speed there, being able to outrace the throw over to first. Great effort by Ryan Johnson. Has had a slower start to the year, but making a big play right there from the senior from Canada.
Corner infielders are in. Critical situation here for both teams. Nathan Archer bunts it foul. And this is just what the doctor ordered for Bowling Green. You want this guy at the plate in these moments. Nathan Archer sophomore from Ohio. Comes in with a team-high 8 RBIs. He does also lead the team with 14 strikeouts. Squares to bunt. And that's low for a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. Another bunt attempt on the way, and strike 2. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Nathan Archer, who has a ton of speed, ranked 4th in the MAC last season with 20 steals. Our home plate umpire is indicating to the press box to change the count to 1 and 2. There we go. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Big pitch coming, and a wave and a miss. Strike 3. Crucial out there from Braxton Kelly on the mound. 1 away.
It's a great effort for Kelly, even though Archer comes in with, of course, a lot of the distinctions of being one of the top players in the MAC. Braxton Kelly, he brings in a lot of experience to the mound as a 5th-year senior. He's seen a little bit of everything. It's kind of funny how Kelly wears the mirrored number of Penrod, his opposing pitcher, on Bowling Green. Penrod wears number 12. Kelly wears number 21 because they mirror and reflect each other in a lot of ways as guys that each have played a little bit of everything and have now found themselves a position here this season, and they're going to try to excel coming out of the bullpen. Big out there from Kelly.
And that pitch misses low. 1 ball and no strikes. Definitely a really good confidence booster, especially, you think about it, Braxton Kelly comes into the game, walks a batter, and then a situation where a bunt was dropped down, no chance to get Ryan Johnston. So you dig yourself in a hole. But he's filling that hole with dirt ever so slightly right now. There's 1 out. The batter is Sam Seidel. 1 ball, no strikes. In a 4-4 game late, top of the 8th inning. And that's on the top shelf of the zone for a strike. 1-1. Here comes the pitch, and it's pulled foul up the first base side. 1-2. Jack Krause is at second. Ryan Johnston at first base. Lights have come on here at Bob Wren Stadium.
Careful for both runners to potentially go.
Third baseman Colin Kasperbauer is in on the dirt, or in on the grass turf there. We'll do it again. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Sam Seidel. Had an infield single back in the 3rd and scored on a throwing error. One ball and 2 strikes. Kelly's pitch looped in the air, shallow left center field. Dolan retreats and reaches up and catches it. He goes airborne for it. 2 down.
What a catch there from Dolan, being able to track that one over the shoulder, jumping up high into the sky and telling Archer, hey, you're not the only one with hops around here.
We're convinced that there's probably no springs in Dolan's cleats. He has hops. It's a fact. What a play from the shortstop. He was shifted a little bit closer to the second base bag in anticipation for a potential double play ball, and still was able to navigate over for the out. So 2 down, runners at first and second, and Kyle Gurney swings through for strike 1, the senior catcher. Gurney comes in tied for first on the team in hits, and he fouls that one off, 0-2.
It's the reason they put him in this cleanup spot in the lineup. When coaches make their lineups, they are very meticulous about what position and what hole they're putting each of their batters in. And if you're put in that 3rd slot, the coaches think real highly of your batting ability.
Braxton Kelly with an opportunity. 0-2, swing and a miss, strike 3. He's charged up on the mound, and it is a scoreless 8th for Braxton Kelly out of the bullpen. We remain tied at 4. Things are getting interesting now, folks, to the bottom of the 8th when we come back. Bowling Green and Ohio. Nick Dolan leads off the bottom of the 8th inning from Bob Wrenn Stadium in Athens, Ohio. The MAC opener live on Bobcat TV. First pitch is going to just snug the inner corner for a called strike, 0-1. Connor Penrod back out there on the mound. He has retired all 4 batters he's faced in this game out of the pen. Dolan charges it in the air to center field, and Archer makes the play for out number 1. What's impressed you the most about Connor Penrod out of the bullpen?
Yeah, so with Penrod, he's a guy where you need to have that one guy you can go to. We always like to talk about ace pitchers being the starters, but you need an ace pitcher as well out of the bullpen, and Penrod has been that guy. He brings 90 to 92 mile per hour heat, and he really showed that in the Louisville series. He's a competitor, and it's going to be a tough guy for Ohio to figure out here in the 8th and 9th innings coming up. It'll be a challenge for the Cats.
Back to the top of the order, Gideon Antle, the junior left fielder, in the hole, 0-2. Penrod delivers downstairs, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Antle looking for his first hit today. A couple of flyouts and a strikeout for the JUCO transfer. 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball sent in the air to left field. It's dipping, but not enough. Jack Krause corrals it. And 2 up, 2 down. How about this? 6 up, 6 down for Connor Penrod out of the bullpen. And they brought him on at the perfect time because Alec Patino has 2 home runs in this game, and Penrod's first batter he faced was Alec Patino, and he got him to fly out.
Yeah, you think at that point they needed to try a different arm, given how Patino hit 2 homers on this day. Try to throw somebody else at him, and he may be a guy who we may see up, if not this inning, but the 9th inning coming up as well. Had a big day, and we'll see if that continues. However, right now, though, Penrod is dealing, trying to close out the inning. And one of the advantages, too, having Penrod out here as a bullpen guy, you get to utilize him a little bit more often than you would a starting pitcher, being able to have him come in relief twice a week as opposed to just pitching your start once a week.
2 balls and 2 strikes to A.J. Roush, who recorded his team-leading 8th double his last time up. A.J. Roush one of the studs on this team. Again, fouls this one off. We spoke to AJ earlier this week. Great conversation with AJ Roush. Asked him, why are you having so much success at the plate this season? He said, competitive at-bats. So that doesn't necessarily always mean it translates to hits, but if you're having those competitive at-bats, it matters. And here is a potential hit. It's lined into center, and it's down. AJ Roush with his second hit of the game. And it comes with 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th inning. So to elaborate on that, because I asked AJ, what's a competitive at-bat to you? And he told us that anything that results in him taking quality pitches, maybe not being one and done at the plate, swinging at the first pitch and getting out, loud outs, screamers that just might be right at the particular infielder or outfielder. So those types of things, he mentally logs that. Colin Kasperbauer takes a strike, 0-1.
Yeah, Kasperbauer, player kind of coming in on a little bit of a rough patch, 0 for his last 9. Had the highest batting average, as we talked about earlier, but right now a little bit down on the season. But it's a tale of 2 seasons. Once MAC play starts, you're almost talking about a full new place.
And Connor Penrod picks off A.J. Roush at first. Heck of a play. Got Roush leaning, and that will end the frame. So we will head to the 9th inning. Buckle up. All tied at 4, Ohio and Bowling Green. Live on Bobcat TV. Top of the 9th inning from Bob Wren Stadium. Braxton Kelly remains out on the mound, and he throws a first pitch that is low for ball 1. All tied at 4. It has been nothing short of a splendid home opener of MAC play for both these teams. The home opener for the Bobcats, and they would like nothing more than to open the 2023 season home slate with a dub. It has been competitive. Talk about even. 4 runs on 5 hits, 1 error for both teams.
Yeah, these teams have been neck and neck, and that's been the challenge of being a Northern baseball team, Sam. You always have to spend the first month of your season on the road. That's not an easy thing, especially for some of the younger players on the team who may not be used to it yet. That is very tough to have to overcome, while teams in the South, per se, may not have to do that as often. But when you get chances at home, you got to go out there, you got to compete, and you got to defend your stadium. For the Cats, that's defending Bob Wren Stadium, and they have an opportunity to do so today. It's all about who will crack under the pressure, who's going to make the play when the game is on the line.
Payoff pitch, Justin Fugett fouls it off, and we'll do it again. So, yeah, Ohio, you mentioned that start to the season playing in Wilmington, North Carolina. That's a long trek against UNCW, Virginia, Navy, and then going down to Western Kentucky, which is actually in Bowling Green, Kentucky, not to be confused with Bowling Green, Ohio, a new Midwesterner on here. That's myself. 3-2 pitch is popped up into shallow right field. Tough play for the second baseman, Billy Adams, and he does come up with a baseball.
What a play there by
Wow.
Billy Adams, man. I think he almost lost track of it in the air, but showed no panic, got his glove up there, was able to make a diving catch. And how about these infielders being able to make those catches over the back? Those are not easy to make at all, especially in a cloudy day like this. We usually always talk about how when it's sunny, if you can lose the baseball or easily, but even when the sky is gray like this, it can be easy to lose the baseball there too. What a catch by Billy Adams. Talk about a first impression. This has really been the theme of the day. A lot of guys making great first impressions here at Bob Wren.
No doubt whatsoever. And at this moment in the game, that is a massive play. Justin Fugate, who has led off every inning he has come to the batter's box, and he's been retired all 4 times. Here's Nathan Rose, 2 balls and no strikes. One thing Ohio did shore up from their second weekend to their third weekend was errors, as the 2-0 is a called strike. In the Western Kentucky series, they committed 9 errors. However, in the Southern Illinois series, even though they got swept, they only committed 3 errors. Jam shot in the air to shallow center field. A.J. Roush rushes in, and it's Nick Dolan who retreats to make the play, 2 away.
Yeah, on your point of errors, Sam, that's something where kind of early on in the season when teams are really working to see what is their optimal lineups in game, this is when you do see a lot of those errors. Sometimes you have pitchers and first baseman or second baseman just kind of not on the same page early on, can cause for those errors. But again, if you are a great team and you're going to have a good season, you've got to iron those out as quickly as possible.
0-1 the count to Adam Fallon, who tied this game at 4 in the top of the 7th inning. A ball that didn't look like it was going to leave the yard immediately, but hit that jet stream in right field. Wind gusts right around 12 to 14 miles per hour this afternoon here in Athens. 0-1 is hammered high in the air and deep. Right field and gone. Number 2 on the day for Adam Fallon, and Bowling Green jumps in front 5-4 in the top of the 9th inning. And that is a gut punch for the Bobcats. But what a swing from Fallon, who did not have a homer in the first 10 games of the season. He's got 2 today.
Yep, Fallon looking over at his opponent, Patino, telling him anything you can do, I can do better today, as that was 380 feet through the heart of Athens, Ohio.
First pitch strike to Tyler Ross. So Ohio does have the home half of the 9th, and you will get to see the heartbeat of the order as Ross is in the hole, 0-2. Due up in the bottom of the 9th for the Bobcats, Colin Kasperbauer, Mason Minzy, and Alec Patino. Oh, 2 is roped in the air to center. Roush maneuvers over towards the alley, and he tracks it down to retire the side. Ended up banging up against that right center field wall there, but appears to be all right. So it is 5-4 Bowling Green, but the Bobcats still have life. They still have hope. The bottom of the 9th comes your way next. Colin Kasperbauer, Mason Minzy, and Alec Patino trying to kickstart a rally. Join us in just a moment for the bottom of the 9th on Bobcat TV. Bottom of the ninth inning. It's all on the line now. 3 outs to play with for Ohio. 5-4 lead for Bowling Green. If you're just joining us, Adam Follen clobbered his second home run of the game to break the 4-4 tie. It's Colin Kasperbauer who leads us off in the home half of the ninth, looking for his second hit today. And it is Connor Penrod who stays out on the mound. Penrod came in with 2 outs in the 6th inning, and he has only given up 1 hit in this game. And Kasperbauer quickly sent down, swinging on 3 pitches.
If you're a Bowling Green fan at home, that's exactly what you want. If you're having a team that's trying to rally against you, if they get their first runner on, your leadoff guy getting on base, they're going to start feeling it. But right there, Penrod just trying to cut off the hope. That's what a great closer can do to their opponents.
Bowling Green pitching today has been really solid, as Mason Minzy will take a strike, 0-1. Outside of Alec Patino for Ohio, Bowling Green pitching has been able to really do some damage. This has popped up. Left side of the infield now drifting into shallow left field, and Ryan Johnston is there. Quickly 2 outs, and Ohio is down to its final out of the game, and it's Alec Patino who can tie it with 1 swing. He has 2 home runs in this game. A third would absolutely give this place a lot of energy. And he takes a strike on the outer corner, 0-1. Bowling Green pitching, by the way, between Gage Schenk and Connor Penrod, 8 strikeouts, 0 walks. That is impressive stuff against this Ohio lineup that has had a lot of success this season. 0-2. It's a slow dribbler to the right side. The pitcher, Penrod, tries to dodge over and tag out Patino, and he does. Ball game over. Bowling Green comes back and wins it 5-4 in an uber competitive MAC game to begin the conference slate. A tough pill to swallow for the Bobcats, but the Falcons come away with the 5-4 victory. Cedric, it was as competitive as all get out to open up conference play. And that's got to excite you as a MAC baseball fan, whether you're Ohio or Bowling Green or a MAC fan watching this in general. I mean, this was an incredible game that, by the way, was played in less than 2 hours. This game started at 2 o'clock, didn't it?
Yep, and it's 3:52. Talk about quick game flow, and that's really the type of baseball you're going to see in the MAC. No matter how cold the temperatures may be, you may have to get some sleeves out there, wear a couple of raincoats, bring an umbrella. You're going to see some fast-paced and fun baseball where each side is going to be chirping quite a bit, and this game did not disappoint. Big shout out to Bowling Green for coming in on the road and being able to come up with timely hits. This was probably one of their best 1-2 punches that you're going to see in this pitching staff between, of course, Schenk and then Penrod, who now extends his streak very well. Every game that Bowling Green has won, Penrod has pitched in it, and he has been credited with the win, making now 3 wins for Penrod, as he has certainly lived up to the billing. Both of these guys, Gage Schenk and Penrod, both fantastic pitchers, and I know for the Cats, you won't have to go against those guys, at least Schenk for the second and third game of the series, so that could be good news. But for the Bobcats, they also fought hard in their own right, especially after Olsen. He had a bunch of great innings pitched, but his only one where things did not go as well. The offense was right there to have his back. That's what teams are all about, being able to know that, hey, even if I have a bad inning pitching, my offense is going to be there to have my back. Hey, we weren't able to get anything going with the bats. The defense and our pitching is going to be there to have our back. And I think that's going to be the lesson that these teams are going to take. And I know that Ohio, they are going to be chomping at the bit for an opportunity tomorrow to take down Bowling Green and to try to defend their home field. But now the pressure's on. They've already dropped 1. And if they want to win this series, they've got to take the last 2, Sam.
Yeah, and it'll be 2 games tomorrow. Again, the change in the schedule, 2 games tomorrow. So we will say so long, but we'll talk to you tomorrow for a doubleheader beginning at 1 o'clock. Again, Bobcats and Falcons will play games 2 and 3 of the set to wrap up the first weekend of Maction on the Diamond. For our great crew on hand today and my broadcast partner, Cedric Granger, pleasure working with you, my man.
Yeah, it was an absolute fun one, Sam, and being able to have this be the first of many broadcasts we'll get together, it makes me smile ear to ear.
All right, for all of us today, Sam Hyman saying so long from Bob Wren Stadium. You've been watching Maction Ohio Baseball on Bobcat TV.